Newsflash! Terrified yuppies were today seen spilling out of wine bars in their thousands, screaming "sell, sell, sell" into their cell phones, after Wall Street issued a stock market warning.
Newsflash, a two-man crew has flown across the Atlantic Ocean, it's been reported. The men hadn't planned on the record-breaking trip, but they thought that since the weather was nice, they'd keep going and change the face of air travel forever.
Newsflash! New research today showed that it could be possible for a plane to cross the Atlantic Ocean. So long as the wind was blowing in the right direction, turbulence ceased to exist, and a plane capable of carrying enough fuel for the journey actually existed. I don't know about you, but I like them odds. Newsflash! The movie-making industry today announced its plans to hold an awards ceremony in which filmmaking luminaries can get together and pretend to be happy for a handful of winners. The first ceremony will take place in 1925, and then every 5 years after that.
Newsflash, Cubans have been spotted sailing just south of here with nuclear weapons. This could be it, listeners. If they get any closer, our plucky military will fry them into grease spots floating on an irradiated ocean. Oh boy, I knew this day would come.
Newsflash! Cigar smokers could soon be enjoying stogies the size of intercontinental ballistic nuclear missiles. A shipment of these giant nipple substitutes are being shipped over, especially from the Baltic, as we speak, and are currently on a course for Cuba.
Newsflash, the country's most wanted villainous couple, Bernice and Claude, have been gunned down in a hail of bullets. Witnesses said it happened in slow motion. They didn't have a chance. If it had been at normal speed, they'd have gotten away. No problem. Tonight, the nation can sleep easily.
Newsflash! 2 thieves today robbed their second bank in a week, making off with almost $10 in cash. Eyewitnesses claim the male was wearing clothes and carried a gun, while the woman had hair and wore shoes. Police are urging anyone who sees a couple fitting this description to call them immediately.
Newsflash, scientists in a lab have invented the pocket calculator. I have one such device right here, and in a world exclusive, I shall carry out the first on-air sum. Let's see, 164 times 38, and the answer is, E? Well, if that's what it says, the answer must be E. Congratulations, science.
Newsflash! A brilliant new invention that can calculate any mathematical equation, called the calculator, could be about to change our education system forever. School principals have universally voted for the abolishment of their soon-to-be-defunct math departments and the channeling of extra funds into helping oversized oafs excel at throwing a pig's bladder around a large field. Hey, who needs to add when you've got football?
Newsflash, a Frenchman bravely flew over the English Channel today, landing safely in England. Reports from Britain say the Frenchman was escaping the squalid, garlic-smelling conditions of his homeland and has applied for asylum in England because, and I quote, "it's the best and most powerful country in the world." Huh? We could kick their butts in a war any time.
Newsflash! Reports from England today suggest that the country could be on the verge of a Birdman invasion. "We'll shoot those bally-rotters out of the sky," snorted one defiant English politician. Bet our guys will have to go over and bail those Brits out.
Newsflash, scientists have just announced they have invented color television. This amazing breakthrough could one day see color TVs in up to 6% of the country's households. Huh? What next, listeners? TVs with more than 3 channels? TVs wider than they're tall? TVs able to show films stored on, I don't know, little silver discs? I'm joking, of course.
Newsflash! The world of entertainment is about to change forever thanks to the invention of the color TV, which could cause the collapse of radio broadcasting. We're finished.
Hi, I'm Kate Sewell with Radio Tech, the 60-second report that brings you the latest news in cutting-edge technology. The world's first computer was shown to the public today. We were at the unveiling of the machine, which proved even larger than expected at 43 feet tall. But this was soon forgotten when onlookers were wowed by its awesome power, watching open-mouthed as it randomly generated 3 numbers, all of which were 3. Our verdict? Start saving for one now, and you'll never need to use dice again. Cool! Hi, I'm Kate Sewell with Radio Tech, the 60-second report that brings you the latest news in cutting-edge technology. Scientists today revealed their plans for a new invention called the computer, which could change the way we play, work, and store data. Inventors of the house-size machine claim that it'll be able to store over 15 lines of text, but that within 100 years, there could be computers powerful enough to hold up to 30 pages of text, or even an entire picture on a disk no bigger than a family car. Cool!
Newsflash! Reports trickling in from around the gob are stating that computer hardware has begun to inexplicably malfunction. Only this morning, here at KMVS, our word processing equipment kept messing itself by changing words to lubricant alternatives. We'll bring you more as farther Muse beaks. What the...
Newsflash, the economy is in trouble because people aren't spending enough in stores across the country. The president has urged the nation to spend like crazy fools in order to kickstart the economy and guarantee him a second term.
Newsflash! U.S. industry sources today urged consumers to spend more money to lift the nation out of its current economic slump. Consumer groups later hit back by saying that U.S. industry first needs to make some products for consumers to buy. The heated exchange ended apathetically earlier this afternoon.
Hi, I'm Kate Sewell with Radio Tech, the 60-second report that brings you the latest news in cutting-edge technology. The DVD was released today amid a mass stampede by the public to buy all the films they already own. Again! Only this time on a shiny disc. We got a copy of Bitchin' Chick Flick, 10 Things You Know About Me, and it was cooler than a fridge in winter with some seriously hilarious unedited deleted scenes and an interview with the janitor who kept the sets tidy during filming. Our verdict? Forget your videos. Go get the DVDs instead. Sweet! Hi, I'm Kate Sewell with Radio Tech, the 60-second report that brings you the latest news in cutting-edge technology. Forget floppy disks, CDs, and tapes, as there'll soon be a new storage format in town. Called the DVD, it'll be indestructible, and one disc will store more than 3 trillion CDs. Sweet!
Newsflash, a giant earthquake has devastated the entire Bay Area, causing hundreds of dollars of damage. The quake, measuring high on the Richter scale, caught the city's residents totally by surprise. As the mayor said, we just assumed that giant cracks appearing in the earth and violent shaking would never happen in our unstable tectonic rift fault pressure zone. That sort of stuff always hits overseas folks.
Newsflash! Seismologists are warning of a devastating earthquake hitting Northern California within the next 2 years. In a hurriedly arranged press conference, the governor urged everyone to remain calm, stating that the chances of an earthquake occurring in such a seismically stable state were virtually zero.
Newsflash, the tallest mountain in the world has been climbed. Mount Everest today was conquered by 2 plucky adventurers who left sweet wrappers, chewing gum, empty oxygen bottles, and a glove as proof that the last pristine, untouched peak in the world has been successfully scaled.
Newsflash! An attempt to climb Everest ended in tragedy today when British adventurer Sir Toxteth Smythe O'Reilly died just inches from the peak's summit after suffering a fatal nosebleed. The upside of all this is that the coast's now clear for one of our boys to conquer the mountain first instead.
Newsflash, expressionism is a new expression sweeping the art world. Some call it genius, others call it a holy mess, which looks like my damn 3-year-old did it. Whatever your views, it's a new style which is taking over the nation. And it sucks.
Newsflash! The art world could be turned upside down within years by a revolutionary new painting style called Expressionism. Some critics are calling it the greatest revolution in painting since the invention of the paintbrush, but we think it looks like a load of infantile doodlings.
Newsflash, it is with a heavy heart that I have to report the grave news that some pinkos have beaten the West into space. A small, stupid basketball sprayed silver with a few antennas on it has circled the world in orbit. Although pinkos are dangerous, weak-minded fools, they appear to have licked us on this one.
Newsflash! The nation was stunned today when reports emerged that another nation might make it into space before ours. Make sure you play this down and try to discredit the other nation. Oh, no, wait, sorry. Wasn't supposed to read that bit out loud.
Newsflash, and a man has flown right across this great country of ours. Pilot Megley Trufflehorn proved the pioneering spirit of adventure is alive and well in us all. Trufflehorn landed on the West Coast earlier today and was lynched for being an out-of-state foreigner, and his plane burned because, say eyewitnesses, it looked kind of evil.
Newsflash. Plucky aviator Megley Trufflehorn today announced his intentions to fly across our great nation just as soon as he manages to buy a plane, learn how to fly, and conquer his fear of heights. Now that's what we call true American spirit. The guy's a nut.
Newsflash, some call it the most pointless flight of all time, others say it's the most important flight ever. But what everyone does agree on is that 8 pilots have flown right around the world, and proving Einstein right, when the 8 landed back where they started, they were exactly 1 year younger than when they set off. More on this later.
Newsflash. 8 intrepid pilots today announced their intention to fly around the world in planes, hoping to utilize cutting-edge aviation technology that'll propel their crafts through the sky at speeds nearing 7 miles per hour. The plucky octet believe they'll be back in time for lunch if they get up extra early and skip breakfast.
Newsflash, reports are coming in that some pinko or other has gone into orbit and returned unscathed. Scientists say anyone living under the red banner would try to get as far away as possible from the bread queues and tractors, so it's natural this guy jumped into a rocket.
Newsflash. A report leaked from the government today revealed a dastardly communist plan to get a man into space before us. It claims the Ruskies could get one of their own up there within a matter of months, which should give us plenty of time to discredit their feeble, inconsequential, and clearly evil efforts to show us up.
Newsflash, Western armies have gone to war against an almost empty desert in the Middle East. In a shock move, thousands of troops and tons of equipment have been sent to the desert to try to destroy whatever they find there. As the president says in a live press conference, that desert doesn't stand a chance. We'll blow it into grains of sand.
Newsflash. A mad dictator this morning announced that his sandy, oil-rich country now owns its neighboring sandy, oil-rich country. Stating he'd won it in a game of poker, the crazed madman claimed he'd take the nation by force if those cheating sheiks didn't pay up. "Three of a kind beats 2 pair," he screamed as he sped off towards the border in a tank.
Newsflash, not content with reducing the sand to even smaller grains last time, our armed forces are back in action in the Middle East, teaching that sand a really good lesson this time. This is one war the president says he will not lose. Currently the sand is making no comment.
Newsflash. That crazed dictator from that sandy, oil-rich nation is at it again, this time barring weapons inspectors from entering his country. "We have no weapons. It is all lies and foreign propaganda," he told crowds during the country's annual military parade.
Newsflash, the government is introducing a new code to regulate the movies. Smut, violence, and bad acts are to be removed or reduced in frequency, and nice, good, wholesome things are to be promoted. On a personal note, I have to say, this censorship goes against everything we at KMVS...
Newsflash. A new code of conduct is to be introduced by the government to stop smut, violence, amorous relations, swearing, nudity, excitement, laughter, hugging, suggestive expressions, and smiling from being shown in theaters. Government-appointed experts predict that the new rules will herald a golden age of cinema.
Hi, I'm Kate Sewell with Radio Tech, the 60-second report that brings you the latest news in cutting-edge technology. The internet hit the mainstream today. We've tried it, and it's amazing how fast we got information about anything we wanted. One time we ran a search and got the results back in under an hour. Our verdict? Get yourselves online and start surfing, dudes. There's a world of useless information out there. Wicked! Hi, I'm Kate Sewell with Radio Tech, the 60-second report that brings you the latest news in cutting-edge technology. The world is about to get smaller and better, thanks to the imminent launch of the Internet. Also called the World Wide Web and the Net, you'd be forgiven for thinking it's something to do with fish. But apparently, it's not. It's actually an information superhighway, so we're guessing it's a huge road or something. Sounds wicked!
Newsflash, rioting has broke out in the downtown area after police made a few small errors of judgment. The riots currently are in the central downtown area, but they're spreading toward the Palm Hills area of the city. Palm Hills? That's where I live. Well, that's the end of this report. Bye.
Newsflash. To serve and protect. That's their motto. But a leaked report has revealed a very different picture of our police forces, documenting several cases of police brutality. We here at KMVS dismiss these disgusting allegations aimed at our brave police officers as nothing more than unsubstantiated speculation. Can you please take your foot off my neck now, officer?
Newsflash, the manned Mars spaceship has touched down safely on the Red Planet. After being cooped up for so long, the astronauts are said to be whooping it up and just really letting her rip on the surface. Reports say they've already done thousands of dollars of damage to the surface of Mars.
Newsflash. The American Space Agency today announced plans to send a man, or if women's lib protesters threaten violence, a woman, to Mars. Excited scientists are hopeful that the expedition will uncover alien life to justify the mission's crippling cost to the taxpayer, though in reality, any craft will probably burn up within seconds of touching down on the planet's surface. Still, it should make for good television.
Newsflash, one of our fellow countrymen has walked on the moon early today. Amidst reports that this moon landing is a fake, it seems astronauts have driven around, played some golf, eaten pizza, and watched the game on the surface of the moon.
Newsflash. After the American Space Agency's announcement to send a man to the moon, the government has set up a Moonland Registry Office to consider proposals for malls, golf courses, and hotel complexes to be built there. You'd better hurry, though, since room for unchecked urban sprawl will be limited by the moon's comparatively small surface area.
Newsflash, the government says our great nation faces a threat unlike any other. Yes, pinkos are everywhere. There could be one living next to you. In fact, you could be one. If you are, leave now before we throw you out.
Newsflash. The government today announced the emergence of a crippling new disease called communism. Symptoms are said to include spying on your neighbors and harboring hostile feelings toward outsiders. Police are urging anyone seeing any foreigners acting this way to report them immediately.
Newsflash, our nation's armed forces have staged a glorious invasion of one of our neighbors to the south. A government press release says they asked us to help because they had too many natural resources and needed an outside military force to take them off their hands.
Newsflash. Rumors from a country south of ours claim that small pockets of gold have been found there. Government sources are keeping a close eye on the situation, with the armed forces on standby should the precious resources need liberating from their native oppressors.
Newsflash, millennium fever is gripping the country. Yes, even though it's technically over a year away, people are preparing to see in the new millennium in style by drinking and kissing strangers. However, others are refusing to celebrate until next year, which, as there was no year zero, is the real millennium.
Newsflash. Millennium festivities could be marred by a robot apocalypse, claimed a report today. Revelers' celebrations could be interrupted or even cut short as computers and machines take on a mind of their own and set about destroying mankind. Hey, as long as we can get drunk, who cares what happens? Is this on?
Newsflash. In an effort to teach those pinkos a lesson, the scientific community today announced its avowed intention is to build rockets and space guns to destroy the pinko menace from orbit once and for all. Good for them.
Newsflash. 17 scientists have started a demonstration outside the White House. Armed with comic books, the geek protesters are demanding a club in which they can safely discuss science and their inability to get girlfriends in a safe environment, away from more socially adjusted and attractive people than themselves.
Newsflash, a totally innocent man is currently being pursued by police very slowly toward downtown under a cloud of press helicopters. The innocent man is believed to have done nothing wrong, but the chase shows no signs of stopping. We'll keep you updated on this slow chase as it slowly grinds to a halt, probably at the innocent man's house.
Newsflash. A man returned home from a night out to find his pet raccoon savagely stabbed to death. Two foreign men, found within a 30-mile radius of the murder scene, have been arrested. "This will be the very definition of swift justice," screamed the police chief before storming into the interrogation room with a baseball bat.
Newsflash. Scientists have finished putting small explosive devices into the brains of world leaders. These devices will detonate in the brain of any leader who starts a war, so we can expect an era of total world peace from now on. And in other news, a car was caught in a tree in Malawi.
News flash. War could soon be a thing of the past, thanks to a revolutionary chip that could prevent world leaders from ever waging hostilities again. Inventor Dr. Mortius Sprott the 23rd, who proposed the idea, is now seeking funding to develop a prototype, having already raised the 37 cents needed to buy paper on which to write the idea.
Newsflash! The nation was frantically tuning in its wireless radios today after the highly anticipated radio broadcasting charts were made public, showing people where to find their favorite shows and at what time. We here at KMVS FM welcome the competition from inferior news channels and thank all of our discerning listeners for tuning in. I hope they don't find KMDB or we are screwed.
News flash. It was announced today that a comprehensive list of radio stations is to be compiled so that listeners can easily find their favorites. We at KMVS 121.5, the station for the more discerning listener, would just like to say how pleased we are about this. There goes our audience.
Newsflash. Two extremely upper-class royal people have cemented the class structure forever by getting married. Invited to the wedding were a whole host of other upper-class people, and the class structure was further cemented by a symbolic sneering at common people from a balcony later in the day. It's a marriage that will last forever and a day, and nobody will forget, especially not the common people.
News flash. A would-be monarch today announced his engagement to a woman half his age and totally out of his league. The fairy tale marriage is being hailed as a match made in heaven.
Newsflash. The president has issued a challenge to any other nation to try and nuke us, if possible. This is not the insane talk of a madman, but rather the measured speech of a statesman who knows that the strategic anti-nuclear shield that scientists have been working on for years is complete. We are safe from all forms of missile attack, he added.
News flash. The government this morning announced its plans to create a giant space shield to protect us from nuclear attacks and to provide extra shade for those most at risk from the sun's damaging rays and thermonuclear explosions.
News flash. Earthlings. We are and we are your new masters. The world is ours. You are our slaves. We shall do with you as we please. Unless it's inconvenient, and, well, we can come back when it's better for you. Sorry if we scared you, or damaged your property. Please feel free to live here for as long as you want. Rent-free, of course. We'll cover the water bills. Sorry if we've, sorry, we'll be off now. Sorry.
News flash. A government report today revealed that UFO sightings have increased by 3,000% over the past decade, a statistic which has put an extra strain on the nation's mental health facilities, which are now at bursting point. "They're coming to turn our intestines into shoelaces!" screamed one deluded madman as he threatened bystanders with a death ray he'd made in his garage.
Newsflash. The movie industry plunged today into crisis when Total Immersion game The Filmmaker hit the shelves and shifted millions of copies within minutes. The game, which lets you create your own movies while running a movie studio, has been heralded as the greatest breakthrough for video gaming since voxel graphics, with game developers the world over kicking themselves for never having thought of this idea before. Oh, lucky for the movie industry it took them so long to catch on, huh?
News flash. A revolutionary type of game called Total Immersion Gaming could soon change the entertainment industry forever. Independent developer Tiger Leg Studios is said to be creating a game in which you can run your own movie studio and even create your own movies just by thinking about it. I always said radio would outlast movies.
Newsflash. Sex. Yes, sex. We're finally allowed to say it. A wave of liberation means that even though animals and people have been having sex for hundreds of years, the taboo about mentioning it has been broken. We can now say sex. Sex! Sex, sex, sex! Ha 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 ha! Sex!
Newsflash. Today, fears escalated that society could be on the brink of moral collapse when a couple was heard openly discussing the act of love in hushed voices in the privacy of their own home. We at KMVS would just like to condemn such filthy acts. Hello. Raquel, I told you never to call me at work. You know my wife might be listening.
Newsflash. The stock market has crashed after dropping through the floor. Traders wept and threw themselves from bridges. As the news came, the market had shattered and melted into 1,000 pieces. Analysts are investigating whether the market can be glued together or whether a totally new stock market is a better bet.
Newsflash. Fears abound that the stock market could implode within the next 2 years. Earlier today, undeterred investors continued throwing large sums of money into stocks and shares, including this news reporter who's set to make a fortune. And kiss goodbye, all you hard-working suckers out there. Ha ha! We still on the air?
Newsflash. A kind of madness is sweeping the nation. No, it's not those pesky pinkos. It's a new threat, and it could be in your home. Yes, I'm talking about teenagers. They stay up past 9. Some of them are learning to drive. They might one day drink alcohol and smoke. Scientists and scaremongers alike are saying that teenagers represent a threat to democracy.
Newsflash. Forget communism. A new menace is threatening our nation. The teenager. A report by a mildly respected scientist whose name we've forgotten states that children as young as 13 could soon start talking back to their parents. Next they'll be telling us kids will be getting pregnant. As if.
Newsflash. The world's first TVs went on sale this morning to an expectant public. Most shoppers were dismayed to find they couldn't afford the device, with one shopper reputedly offering his elderly mother as down payment. Apparently, the shop in question did not accept the offer, though it did take the man's son as part exchange.
Newsflash. Eccentric Bavarian Dr. Hans Wolfgang von Bistenhalter today announced his plans to create a machine called the television. Our scientists claim that the wooden box is in fact a shrinking device that'll be able to store people and even entire worlds, though only in black and white. And our boys are never wrong.
Hi, I'm Kate Sewell with Radio Tech, the 60-second report that brings you the latest news in cutting-edge technology. The VCR went on sale today to a public eager to spend less time together. Married couples, dysfunctional families, and loners were at the front of most lines for the revolutionary device. But with stocks still high, the great news is that none of us needs to miss out on this chance to become less socially active. Our verdict? Shell out for this must-have machine and start losing your friends forever. Groovy! Hi, I'm Kate Sewell with Radio Tech, the 60-second report that brings you the latest news in cutting-edge technology. If you've ever wanted to watch movies at home and at any time, then the VCR could be right up your street. Set for release within the next few years, it'll even let you tape films on TV, with your average movie fitting on just 9 tapes. Groovy!
Newsflash. A tiny, easy-to-win war has broken out between our troops and the north of a small East Asian country.
Newsflash. Our brave boys are gearing up for war today after a man from the southern part of a small Asian country sat on a communist-made toilet and became infected with the communist superbug. If it spreads, our boys will go in and purge the pinko threat in minutes, stated one cautious government spokesman when pressed on how long a war could last.
Newsflash. Scientists are upset that the Voyager 1 space probe has failed to discover alien life capable of destroying us. Although mankind has long dreamt of a war with horrid bug-headed aliens in which we kick them in their gooey pants, Jupiter, the most dangerous planet ion in the solar system, seems to be deserted. Still, there could be anything kicking about on Neptune.
Newsflash. A startling report from dentist and part-time astronomer Dr. David Fafenek has suggested that space probe Voyager 1 is likely to uncover life on Jupiter when it passes the giant planet in a few months' time.
That big red spot must be a forest fire or something,
claimed the excited Fafenek. Sounds like too much nitrous oxide to me.
Newsflash, a huge, odd-smelling cloud of smoke has been spotted drifting up from a giant open-air free concert. Police, after extensively smelling the smoke, have so far not been bothered to comment or investigate.
Yeah. Newsflash. Thousands of work-shy youths were today jolted out of their apathetic malaises by the announcement of a massive rock concert for work-shy youths of an apathetic nature. What? Oh, yeah. Newsflash. Thousands of work-shy youths were, today jolted out of their, apathetic, malaises.
Newsflash, war has broken out after an aristocrat was assassinated. For some reason, experts say that war will involve trenches, lots of mud, and senseless slaughter. They also say it'll be over by Christmas, and it's guaranteed to bring peace to Europe for hundreds of years to come.
Newsflash. An Austrian archduke today escaped with only minor lesions to his handlebar mustache when a crazed knife man attempted to shave him. Political commentators believe that had the attack proved successful, it would have taken the Archduke close to a decade to grow the mustache back to its former length.
Newsflash, the war is over. After years of global conflict, our great nation has triumphed over evil. A few other countries may have helped us a little, but we are victorious. War is over. The drinks are on me.
Newsflash, this just in. After 6.5 years of hardship and struggle, the Green Bay Hacks finally won a game, beating the Colorado Dukes by a single point, with Green Bay quarterback Hugo Canesco scoring the winning touchdown with just seconds remaining on the clock. In other news, World War II could be over in a matter of months.
Newsflash, war has broken out in Europe. Reports coming in that some weird little guy is picking on his neighbors. The president issued a statement saying, "This war doesn't concern us unless," and I quote, "some idiots are damn fool enough to attack us, maybe in Hawaii or someplace." We'll keep you informed.
Newsflash. A babbling Austrian today laid out his plans to create a master race in Germany. Isn't that somewhere in Europe? Sports analysts predict the race could include water jumps. Some paranoid cynics are suggesting that the plans are in fact genocidal in intent, though this theory has been quickly dismissed as crazy talk invented by deluded madmen.
Newsflash, tech stocks have crashed all the world's markets. Tens of zillions has been wiped off the value of... Oh, God, I'm sorry, stocks. No, it's no good. I put all my life savings into the stock market. It's over. I'm finished. Do you hear? I had to hear like this? Oh, no.